It's an authoritarian regime. I'm going to say it right now. This is full.
On the new channel, Scott Lucas, how are you?
It is fantastic to be here to help you launch this.
The political temperature in the United States is climbing to a boiling point. Many analysts are now sounding the alarm, warning that the system of checks and balances, which once kept political power in check, is starting to crumble. This erosion is allowing the executive branch to tighten its grip on institutions that were always meant to be independent. One of the most alarming flashpoints is the Federal Reserve. The head of America's central bank has found himself in the crosshairs of intense political pressure for not lowering interest rates as fast as the White House demanded. Despite rising inflation and shaky markets, the Fed stood firm, arguing that cutting rates too soon could throw gasoline on the economic fire. Then came a bombshell. The Justice Department announced it was launching criminal investigations into renovation projects at Federal Reserve buildings. Officials cited rising construction costs, but critics were quick to point out that cost overruns are common in huge government projects and rarely lead to criminal charges. They also noted that the Fed's top leadership doesn't even manage these contracts directly. Many see this for what it is: a political power play designed to intimidate or even remove a leader who refused to bow to political pressure. Supporters of the Fed's independence are warning that this kind of attack on our monetary authority could shatter financial stability and send shockwaves through global markets. Let's look at the economic backdrop. Inflation was actually starting to cool down, and everyone expected interest rates to follow. But then, abrupt shifts in trade policies, new tariffs, and changes in government spending threw a wrench in the works, pushing prices back up. In this climate, slashing interest rates would be like trying to put out a fire with kerosene. That's why the central bank held its ground. But this isn't just about economics. There's a growing fear about the very nature of governance in the U.S. today. Critics argue that agencies responsible for law enforcement, immigration, and national security are being wielded in increasingly aggressive and opaque ways. A recent federal operation that resulted in a civilian's death has sparked public outrage and accusations of misconduct. Civil rights groups and legal experts are clear. Holding controversial political views or participating in protests should never be a death sentence. They warn that branding dissent as terrorism or extremism is a classic move from the authoritarian playbook, where disagreement is treated not as a democratic right, but as a threat to the state. Foreign policy is only adding to the global jitters. The administration has made aggressive statements about controlling strategic territories, ramping up military and diplomatic pressure around the world. While some officials talk about negotiation, others seem to favor confrontation, leaving allies and adversaries alike guessing about America's real intentions. All of this points to a frightening reality. The long-standing norms of American democracy are eroding before our eyes. The independence of our financial institutions, the rule of law, and the protection of civil liberties are the very pillars holding up our system. As they weaken, the entire structure becomes dangerously fragile. Elections are on the horizon, but there's a growing anxiety about whether they will be free from interference. Talk of using military or emergency powers to settle political disputes has set off alarm bells for citizens and lawmakers. Experts warn that when leaders feel cornered, they don't back down. They often double down. Instead of seeking compromise, they may resort to more force, tighter control, and harsher crackdowns on their critics. As this political and economic storm intensifies, it feels like the United States is standing at a crossroads. Can our democratic institutions withstand this unprecedented pressure? That's the billion-dollar question. But one thing is terrifyingly clear. The stakes for the country and for the entire world have never been higher. Thanks for watching. If you found this analysis insightful, please consider subscribing for more deep dives into the issues shaping our world.